It's great to be 1-0. Dog Center, brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Georgia Bulldogs. And we're back, fellas. Great to usher in Kirby Smart and coaching staff, the new changes. Great to be 1-0. What did we see game one? What did you like, Russ?
Hey, my favorite thing was how the boys fought in the second half. Got a chance to go to the game, was in the stadium. Like a lot of you people out there, I like sitting at the house in my recliner, eating and doing what I want in the comfort of my home. Yes. But there's nothing like being in the stadium for a big game like that, especially when the Dogs win. So to be a part of that atmosphere, to see everybody really fired up, really rally behind this team, and then to see the team play well early, get behind because of some mistakes, and then really buckle down and come back. To me, that was the biggest takeaway, was how they fought when a little bit of adversity hit. And when you got a new group, new group of coaches, and kind of you're trying to get everybody to buy in, see the guys fight and come back when things are tough, I think says a lot about this group. So that was my favorite takeaway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So especially when we were talking about the freshmen and the young team, young players, how they were going to deal with that. If you got older seniors and an older team, you know what they're going to do. They're going to fight back. But especially Russ with the young talent we have.
Because we have, 11 true freshmen?
11. Which I thought it would be more than 11,
yeah,
frankly, but closer game. So we'll see more of those guys.
That's about half the class, though.
That is very true, very true. Which we know a good bit of them will get on the field Saturday. So we'll see what the plan is to play them all. Biggest shocker of the game?
I mean, I think it's Brian Herrion, as far as what I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
To see that guy coming in as a pretty much unrecruited guy that's concerned if he would be able to make it in. To his credit, worked hard, did what he was supposed to do, qualified, and comes in when we're in a really banged up running back situation as far as, two of our top three not being available when it comes to Sony and then Holyfield. To see Brian Herrion come in on that first carry. He ran with speed, he ran with power, showed a little bit of vision and then patience. I mean, I was pumped up for the kid. I can't imagine what his blood pressure was after that first touchdown run when he hit that pylon. So to me, that was the most surprising, pleasant surprise of the day.
And he played, other than the touchdown, he had some great carries. So he's a good-looking kid, for sure.
I'd probably go with the amount of carries Chubb had first game back.
32?
It's a lot. To me, I'm thinking he's coming back from an injury. Maybe we're going to work him in slowly. But, hey, they must have known he was ready to go, and he was.
It's just that was unbelievable. I would have never thought he would have that many carries, much less that many yards. But we knew he was going to break one. You just he always breaks one, so we were waiting and waiting. My shocker was David Marshall, the way that kid played on the D lineman. I really didn't expect to see him out there, but he played often, played in critical situations. Yep. He's a good-looking guy, and I think Kirby commented this week that he's a different body. We don't have his type of body. We got the 300-pound inside guys, but we're kind of thin, but he played very well, way more than serviceable. So talking about Chubb's being Chubb again, what do you see? How are they going to utilize him over the next few weeks? Probably slow him down Saturday, but what else are we going to see out of him?
Well, I hope this week we see a lot less carries out of him. I would be shocked if he gets more than about 15 or 16 carries coming in this week. So I think you want to keep him fresh and ready. You should not need Nick Chubb to win the game this weekend. No doubt about it. Playing Nicholls State. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
See what I did there. We shouldn't need him this week. So cut him back. He doesn't even have a doggone knee brace on, which is it makes me nervous for him. But he's a confident cat who's another world when it comes to his ability to be a human being.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that was awesome.
He won on a pitch count last week, but he'll be on one this week, we think. Yeah.
For me, I'm going to say, the offensive line, talking about Chubb there, they're going to continue to get better, pick up their blocks better, gel as a unit. The more they work together and open up even bigger holes, the more Chubb's going to have. A lot of his big plays are still bouncing it outside. They're clogging up the inside. But as soon as he can hit something downhill, I think it's going to be even easier for him.
They were getting really good push, especially out on the goal line. They were getting them in the end zone, which I was very impressed with. So we got some road graders up front.
Road graders, they've got to learn what to do and do it the same every time together. Because there was a lot of misassignments. I guarantee you, there was some butt chewing on the film come Monday.
Especially in pass protection. I think we had a few busted assignments.
There's some bad ones
backs
on that.
too. Don't put it on no line, but.
Well, let's talk about this. So 50% or greater of the time we were in 2 or more tight end sets. That's challenging for a tackle.
Yeah.
To me, you're loosening up, you're playing against more meat. What is that? What do y'all think about that? Whenever they're stacking the box, and naturally, so you got all those tight ends on the field.
I mean, you know what you got. I mean, that's the thing. I don't even think we threw the ball out of a 3 tight end set. Which
I don't think we did either.
You know, you don't want to be predictable, but at the same time, if you're mashing, why not? I saw a stat on Chubb on first down. I think he had 16 carries for about 150 yards on first down, which is crazy. I mean, you know you're running the ball. You know what you're doing. So to come in with those 3 guys, and if you look at Kirby's players of the game, one of them was Jeb Blazevich. He named this week. So those guys were blocking their rear ends off. And while they stack the box, you also create a lot of matchup problems for them with that because you have more big guys that can push up front. So, you know, they saw something on film they liked out of that set and executed it really well.
They sure did.
Seems like he held a lot back too, as far as using 2 and 3 tight ends. You know they're gonna open up the passing game with that. So
hopefully not this week as much, but
down the
weeks
road.
to come.
Yeah, weeks to come. So it'll be interesting. So going back to Saturday, 4 minutes left to go in the game. Easton seems to be rolling, seems to have momentum. Granted, he's been out there with more than he's had 3 and 4 wide going for him, so he's loosened up. But the coaching staff decides to go back with Grayson Lambert 4 minutes ago when the momentum was on our side with Easton. What are your takes?
Well, being a coach and being second guessed recently, I don't want to second guess the coaching, but he must have seen something there that he thought Lambert coming back in the game would be able to control it a little better. But with Chubb's big run, I mean, it kind of makes it a little easier on him too.
Yeah.
But hey, I don't want to second guess, Coach.
You know, and who knows? It was fun watching Easton come in. There's a huge cheer. We actually had a bet before the game with some friends who would get the bigger cheer, Nick Chubb or Jacob Eason. And I think it was Eason. When Easton came in the game, the place went nuts. They simplified the offense for what he did. I mean, he threw some balls, but it was very simple, which I thought was very smart. But I think they probably were thinking about the little things that Easton doesn't do as well. Getting out of the huddle in time.
Yeah.
I mean, he was up against the play clock every single time, just getting the play in, getting out of the huddle, and then taking the ball from under center. Before this year, Jacob Eason never taken a snap under center. Not in live action. He'd been in shotgun his whole life. So, I'm sure that's the game plan for it. And, it's easy to look back now and say, I don't know about that because you give the ball number 27, he houses it. A lot of discussions gone from that. But, it's going to be interesting to see how that little rotation works itself out in the coming weeks.
It will. So we're getting some reports that Easton's getting a few more snaps, and he's earned more snaps. However, I would say Lambert hasn't lost any snaps. He's proven himself and been more than serviceable. Bama quarterbacks are notorious for being game managers, so we'll see what we can do. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk about things across the nation. We're going into Nicholls State. What other exciting football games are going on this weekend in college football? Dog Center, brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center. Coming back after this. Welcome back, Dog Center. Now we're going to head over to Scooter Scott Brown, where he's going to do his weekly shenanigans.
He'll let us know what Nicholls is all about.
Thanks, guys. It's Scooter Scott. Welcome. Today we're introducing a new segment called The Big Three with Scooter Scott. This is the segment where we take a little time out to give you, the fans, some information about our upcoming rival for the week. This week, the Dogs are facing off against Nicholls State University. Should be a real nail-biter. So let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, to jump in, we're going to go with the geography question. Where did the Fighting Nicholls hail from? Nope, not Canada. Nicholls State is located far away in Thibodaux, Louisiana? But if you knew that, then hotty toddy. Yeah, whatever. Next up, let's find out what folks down in Thibodaux are proud of. Looks like they were one of the first institutions in the U.S. to offer a bachelor's degree in the culinary arts, specializing in both French and Cajun cuisine. Well, hoo-wee, that's no Peabody Award, but good for them. I can tell you that right now, I guarantee. And finally, what the French Cajun school from Filled with Dough use as their mascot? Well, I'm not just sitting here eating a bucket of chicken because I feel like it, although most days I do feel like it. They're the Colonels from Nicholls State, proudly named after their founder, Colonel Harlan Sanders. Yeah, whatever. So set your DVR, sleep in this Saturday, and have a po' boy in honor of the proud Nicholls State corn kernels. That's it for me, guys. Remember to wear red this week, and we'll see you next week at the Big 3. Back to y'all. Guys, what the heck? Y'all aren't even paying attention to me, like, at all. That was a solid bit. What am I, chopped liver? Yeah, whatever.
And we're back. Thank you, Scooter.
Nicholls State. Woo!
Job, Scooter.
Fired up.
Appreciate that. So now we're going to cover a new segment. We're going to cover things that went around the horn in college football last weekend, what we got going on. We'll promise to keep this shorter than a Jimbo Fisher pregame speech. So speaking of which, Florida State Ole Miss, they got that off to tantalizing fashion by showing us a little speech. What'd you think of that?
Jimbo's pregame speech, it went something like this. So, defense, tackle. We're going to tackle today. Linebackers, you line up. Quarterback, say hut. Take the snap, hand it off, throw the ball. Receivers, catch it. Ball coming to you, catch the ball. Catch the ball is important. We work on catching the ball. You're grown men, catch the ball. Offensive lineman, when he says hut, you block. We work on blocking. We know what to do. We're the Seminoles. We're from Tallahassee. We're playing a team from somewhere else, near the Mississippi. No, they're in Mississippi. Special team, kick the ball, catch the ball. And now for the next 10 minutes, I'll continue to do things like this.
Well, Ole Miss waits on the sideline.
There you go.
I
was tired.
It was so bad. My wife is in the kitchen going, "Is this normal?" I'm like, "No, I don't know what's going on. Can't tell you." But so that probably was the difference in Florida State's. They let Jameis Winston do the halftime speech, and so that's why they came out a little bit differently. But
Jameis got him fired up.
He did get him fired up. He was probably brief and to the point. So the Ole Miss first half, they look like world beaters. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to be in for it. But tale of two cities. Your takes on that game?
Momentum is crazy to me. Like trying to quantify momentum and what it means for a football game and what you see at different teams when something starts going your way is crazy. Literally, we said the tale of two halves, but that was one just completely different as far as both teams first half to second. So, to Florida State's credit, they came in, corrected what they did. They didn't wet the bed when things got tough, and they came out really good in the second half and, put it on Ole Miss. And Ole Miss really folded in the second half.
They really did.
You got to feel bad about who you are if you're them right now.
Had a great opportunity and just let it, they let it slip away.
Uncle Mo can go back and forth, sideline to sideline, can he? My thing first half is like if we got a shot at beating Ole Miss, it's because they're going to implode, which they look like they're prone to implode, and they did. So phenomenally interesting game. That game was. What was your most interesting other game of the weekend?
Mine ended up being the Appalachian State-Tennessee game, just because I couldn't turn away from it. It was just – I just love watching Tennessee squirm. And, they came up and won, but it was not a moral victory. That was a moral defeat for them. So to watch that happen, and obviously Notre Dame and Texas was a great game, a lot of fun to watch. So did you get to watch any football, Deke?
I watched a little bit in between watching my high school film, but Houston and Oklahoma, I enjoyed watching that one. It was a good game.
Houston looks like a top 5 team right now.
They do. They have some players on defense as well. I mean, what they were able to do at the line of scrimmage was impressive.
Yeah, so it's fun coming off a weekend like that. A lot of people say it's the greatest weekend of college football ever as far as opening weekend. It's hard to argue that.
Yeah, very.
Now we're coming into what is arguably the worst weekend in college football history coming up, where the marquee game is Tennessee versus Virginia Tech at a racetrack.
Only because it's at a racetrack is entertaining.
Yeah,
I'm going to check it out myself. I got a lot of in-laws that went to Tennessee, not wearing orange.
Okay.
I might be wearing a Georgia red shirt in the middle of all that.
You're going?
I'm going.
Nice.
The over/under on 3 and outs has to be triple what the score. Over on the score. I think it's going to be a horribly boring game, but we'll see what.
I just hope my kids don't come home singing Rocky Top.
No, you have failed as a parent if they do that.
I just won't come back next week, guys.
There you go.
Well, there you have it. Dennis is not going to sing Rocky Top. He's going to have fun in Bristol.
In Bristol.
Going up there to 150,000 fans.
Supposed to be the largest game ever.
Really, for college football game
most
ever?
amount of fans ever, so yeah.
So good. So maybe that'll give us some ammunition for next week where we'll check out the Dogs should be going 2-0 heading into the Missouri game. That's been Dog Center, brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Hey, are you going to finish that gravy?
Excuse me? Are you serious? She didn't even work here. Can we get Alicia on that?